Madara Uchiha was right. Peace might be a lie, and free will might be overrated. What if the happiest world is the fake one? What if the world we call real only survives because we're used to pain? And what if the man we call a monster was the only one honest enough to admit it? There are two paths for humanity. One accepts suffering as the price of freedom. The other deletes suffering entirely. One values reality, even if it's cruel. The other values happiness, even if it's false. This is not a fight between heroes and villains. This is a war between reality and illusion, freedom and peace, individuality and unity. And at the center of it stands Madara Uchiha. Madara didn't want power. He didn't want domination. He didn't even want to rule the world. Madara wanted an ending. He looked at history and saw the same pattern repeating forever. Hope to conflict, to war, to loss, to hatred, to war again. He learned one brutal truth early in life. Wherever there's light, there will be shadow. Where there are victors, there will always be the defeated. Peace, to Madara, was never real. It was just the silence between screams. But here's the problem. Madara wasn't wrong about the world, and that's where it gets terrifying. Here's the uncomfortable truth. In the real world, free will doesn't protect you from pain. You can make every right choice and still lose everything. You can be kind and still be betrayed. You can avoid war and still die from disease, age, or disaster. Peace never lasts. It never has. Even in the shinobi world, leaders decide who lives and who dies. Children are trained as weapons. Villages preach unity while preparing for the next war. Madara didn't invent cruelty. He just refused to lie about it. This isn't anime. This is history. Every peace treaty is followed by another war. Every never again eventually becomes again. Even in peaceful times, suffering doesn't disappear. Pandemics happen. Economies collapse. Trust breaks silently. The world doesn't need villains to suffer. It does that on its own. And Madara saw this centuries before anyone else dared to say it out loud. So ask yourself this: if happiness feels real, does it matter if it isn't? If you live your entire life smiling, does it matter if the world is fake? Let's slow down. Madara's logic isn't emotional, it's systematic. Why suffering repeats? Because humans experience pain differently. Every heart carries its own truth, its own wounds, its own grudges. And when truths clash, conflict is inevitable. Why individuality causes conflict? Individuality creates desire. Desire creates comparison. Comparison creates resentment. Someone will always have more. Someone will always have less. Someone will always feel wronged. Why unity feels tempting? Madara's solution was radical but simple. If individual pain causes conflict, then remove individuality. The infinite Tsuchiyomi wasn't about control. It was about synchronization. One dream, one truth, one shared happiness. No misunderstandings, no jealousy, no war, just peace, forever. And then there's Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto believes pain must be faced, not erased, that suffering gives meaning to joy, that bonds formed through hardship are real. But here's the weakness in Naruto's philosophy. It depends on good people staying alive forever. What happens when Naruto dies? History answers that question for us. When Hashirama Senju died, war returned. Power vacuums always create monsters. Peace built on people collapses when those people disappear. Naruto's dream works only as long as Naruto exists. So here's the real conflict. One world is cruel but real. The other is peaceful but false. One allows suffering in the name of freedom. The other sacrifices freedom to erase suffering. Naruto fights for hope. Madara fights for certainty.
Naruto believes humanity can grow. Madara believes humanity repeats. And the story never truly proves Madara wrong, it only stops him. So here's the question Naruto never answers. If you could live a perfect life, feel love, purpose, fulfillment, would you really choose to wake up? Or would you stay asleep, knowing the dream is kinder than reality? Madara lost the war, but his question remains. Is truth worth the pain?